Yo guys, it's DeezerHD and I've got another tutorial for you, but this time it's going to be on Photoshop CS5, and what I'm going to be teaching you is how to cross-process an image. So it'll say this is the original image. If I select, that's your original image, and it will turn into something like this. So you can see, well, cross-processing was originally used with film cameras, and it was a procedure of deliberately changing the film, the chemical solution intended for a different type of film. So say if you used one chemical solution like CM1 and you used it with a different type of film, then it would give off this kind of effect, and it basically, all the really dark black areas, it'll change to like a harsh bluey colour, and it like increases the contrast between all of the darker areas and the lighter areas as well. So let's get straight into that. I'm just going to be using this image here. This is what it started off with, so I'll go into Photoshop, and I've already got it loaded here. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Let's fit this to the screen. So the first thing that you actually want to do, we always create a new copy of this layer. So it's going to be locked, but you can just drag it down to the one next to the bin. You don't want to click the bin, the one next to it, which would be this one just here. We can drag that down into that, and that'll make, you can see we've got a copy, and that means that if anything goes wrong, we can delete the copy, and we've always got our backup image there. So the first thing that I did was you want to go into this button here next to the folder icon, and these are all the effects that you can apply to everything and still edit, rather than, these are adjustment layers, these here. Rather than if you just went to image, adjustments, levels, and then changed it, you can't edit this again without going back and doing it all over again. So the first thing we can actually do is maybe crop our image down. So if we just get rid of this, and I know that I wanted mine just like this, and just maybe just a bit smaller than that, because I don't need all of it. There we go, that looks good to me. So that's actually cropped everything, even the background layer behind it as well, so that's all good. Then we go into our adjustment layers. You want to get a curves adjustment, and this is what we're going to be using the most throughout this to create this effect. And if this window doesn't come up, you can go to Window, and it should be just here in Adjustments, and then this window will come up. And first thing you want to do is go into the red channel, which is just on this drop down arrow here. And you want to drag this point. You can see there's, like, let's say there's 1 point there, 1 point there, 1 point there, but we just need to drag this one down a little bit. As you can see, it's already going a lot more blue than before. And then you want to take this point and drag it up, so it's like that, and maybe take this one here and drag it up as well. So we can see we've got like this kind of very harsh S shape at the top, and it curves out quite smoothly there. Maybe drag this one down just a tad more, and that one looks, that's okay there already. You can see we've already got these nice like glow coming around here. You then want to go into the green channel, and with the green we're just going to say make a little point here like this, just tiny adjustment. That's too much, just hardly noticeable really, but it will give off a good effect. And drag this one up like that, maybe just like that shape there. It's got a small arc going over there. And the last one, you want a blue. And for the blue, we're just going to grab this bottom point and drag it up like this a little bit, and at this point and drag it down. And as you can see, we've basically, with just that adjustment, we've basically already got that effect. But what you want to do now is go back into your adjustments layer icon down here, and you want a photo filter. And you want to just click colour and leave that colour, and we'll say 25% should be fine. So basically it's just adding a photo filter, and you can see it's added like a more of a amber colour to that now, and that gives a really nice contrast with all the blues. And then we could add a levels, maybe levels adjustment, and all I'm going to change is this one here, which is the gamma. You can see we make darkening our shadows, etc. So I know that 23 works well with this for me. So you can see we've got like a really subtle difference, hardly tell it at all, but you might want to adjust it just a tad more, just to bring out all of the little cracks in here. But what we're going to do is we're going to sharpen this in a second, just this section, because you can see I've got a really nice depth of field across here. So then we could do a hue and saturation. We've got quite a few adjustment layers here, and maybe just lower that saturation just a tiny bit to -9 or something. You can just see it just takes out a bit of the colour, but not too much, just a tiny amount. So everything around here isn't too bright, etc. And I think a vignette, which is like a black faded outline, looks really nice with this. So if you do Command-Shift-N or Control-Shift-N if you're on a Windows computer, we're going to call this Vin for vignette. Click OK. And you want to go into your gradient tool. And usually you'll have it on this one here, but you want it on the radial one, which is the second one in. And you can click here, and say you usually have it on this one, you want to click this one where it goes from black to transparent. And you want to drag this black one about halfway and the white one all the way to the other side, and then take the black one all the way to the other end. So we've got transparent to black. Click OK, and then you want to maybe zoom out just a little bit, so Command- to zoom out. Click roughly in the centre, holding Shift so it's nice and straight. You don't want it going off at an angle, but then there we go. We've got a really nice vignette there, but obviously that's too harsh. So we can maybe lower that down to about 40%. So it's only making a very subtle adjustment really, just to give it that mood, the different sense of mood in there. Just going to lower it a tiny bit more. We only want it very subtle, not too much at all. And now what I'm going to do to bring out this even more is I'm going to go Command, Alt, Shift and E. And what that does is creates a new layer with all of these layers here merged together. So this on its own, so if we took off all of these, you can see it's just everything in one layer. So that allows us to edit it via sharpening and stuff. So we're going to call this like sharpen. Oops. Oops, I can't spell today. Sharpen. There we go. And what we're going to do is go select by using the pen tool, and I'm just going to click around this bit that's in focus, which is the tree. And this just not going to be too fussy about this because it's a tutorial and we don't need to spend lots of time, but you can if you want. It's quite a straight tree anyway, so it's not too bad. And go back around. There we go, and click right mouse click, make selection. Feather radius will be fine for 0 pixels, and we can do Command X, which will cut that out. And then we can go Command Shift N for a new layer. OK, Command V. And there we go, we've got our tree again. Holding Shift, we can move that back over into the right place just there. So now we've got our tree. So we can call this layer actually. We can go double click and click tree and sharpen layer actually, let's call this background. So now we have them on 2 separate layers. So say if I was going to hide all of these, we got that bit and that bit. So that's all good. So on the background, what I did first was just to give it that contrast against the focus of the tree. We go to Filter, Blur and Gaussian Blur. And you don't want it too much at all, like you don't want it to be like that because that's just way over the top. You just want it like, let's say 6 pixels will be fine. So you can see it's not a lot at all on there, so we can click OK. You can see just the focus is just blurred it out just that tiny bit more to give all the focus onto this tree. And then on the tree layer, filter, sharpen, and I'm going to use a smart sharpen. And this really does bring out all of it. If I zoomed in a little bit, let's move over. And whoops. Let me just click cancel and I'll just move over for you. We go to filter, sharpen, smart sharpen. Now you can see that's with the smart sharpen and that's without. You can see it's very, very subtle just in like this bit here. And we can always adjust these properties. Like say you don't want it, like say the radius to be like massively increased. You just want it to be very nice. So I'm just going to reset that. We can just use a sharpen if you wanted, but I prefer the sharpen, the smart sharpen. So just increase our amount a little bit, not too much at all. Click OK and come on, minus. Whoops. Command minus to zoom back out. There you can see we've got a much sharper image there. You can see the blur on the edges around here is being taken out from there. Looks much better there. And I think that's basically how I created it. So we've got a nice sharp tree with really nice colours here. So without it, that's the colours we had. Not the best photo. I really like the depth on it though. You can see all the repetition of the trees, but with this really nice colour effect, you can get some really nice effects on your images. And I may make a giveaway for Magic Bullet Looks for this preset. If you have Magic Bullet Looks, you can colour correct this as a cross-processed image within one click of Magic Bullet Looks. You go to Filter, Magic Bullet Photo Looks, and then it should be one click and you'll have all this done. You could also create an action if you wanted to, so that would be cool if you created an action. So let's have a look. You can just record it here, everything you do, then click stop, and then you can just click it and it just goes through. That's really cool. But so that's a basic tutorial, and I really hope it helped you out, guys. But you don't want to put any of these layers below this layer because it may be a bit too dark. You may want to burn this layer out a bit with the burn tool. I just remembered I did this, just burned it just to give it that extra bit of contrast against the tree. So there we go, just a really nice effect there. I really hope it helped you out, and thank you for watching, and let me know what other tutorials you want. I just thought I'd give you this one as I've been working on my photography project, which is landscape, so I just use this effect to pull off these really nice colour corrections, so I thought I'd share it with you. But thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Peace.